Guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to a new video. Today it is Monday the 30th of January, and on the beginning of the week we always look with a little bit of a macro perspective to the market and everything we can expect this week, and it is going to be a big week. If you like the content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think this is useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, those links are also in the description. And we're going to start off with the king of crypto, BTC USD, here on the daily. It has been an absolute rocket ship to the top. We even had a bit of a weekend pump, but today we are retracing a little bit. Right now trading approximately 23,000, around that value area high, that blue line that you see right here. We just have a little bit of a top above us, and I drew a box there because if you zoom in, you can see that actually was the top on this collection of candles. So that was one here, then we had a second top here, and that was then a third bigger top, and then we had that bigger retrace, as you might have remember. Well, now a few weeks later we are entering that zone again, and I also put it in yellow line right here at 25,200. That is really the top of this wick right here, all the way on the left. So that would be definitely a zone for me to look at. Once we already start trading into this box, that is really already the bigger resistance, but maybe an SFP of the 25,200, that will be a very nice trade to the bottom. But also, if we are now already going lower and kind of bouncing off or failing to break that value area high, then it would be a very nice trade to the bottom. Of course, the macro juice is really here at that value area low. It's also the confluence here with that blue box. That's the golden pocket, 18,444 to 18,713. But there are also very other nice levels in between. For those levels, actually let me zoom in to the 4 hourly, then I can put it a little bit more precise. So for example, if we put it under this wick right here, then you can see that we have a golden pocket approximately 21,500, which then also coincides with the top here of this trading range. So to reach that and then to go higher, that actually would be super nice. That is a drop of approximately 7% from where we are right now. If that doesn't happen and we are going higher, then of course we need to move here the fib retracement a little bit, but this is kind of where I'm looking out for right now. And we also still have the liquidity here underneath these lows. Tomorrow we will have a more detailed look into this area, but this is for now a little bit on the macro. I also told you about taking out the liquidity here and here. Well, that happened on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, but now we are retracing a little bit. We still have a bigger CME gap underneath us. That is a gap of approximately 5%, but the one from last weekend got close actually right away in the first few hours of the trading session. On market Cipher B, it still looks kind of okay. For the 4 hour, we still have those bigger bearish divergences. Here was now another one printed, and that is then measured from this high to this high. Let me zoom in so that it's a little bit more clear. But you can see that we also had bearish divergences earlier, but those didn't play out so far. The money flow, this, when I looked this in the weekend, that looked actually super strong, but now we can see that we're finally curving to the downside. The view up here looks quite bearish. Maybe this has some follow through. Something that looks actually super strong is the 12 hour on market Cipher B. If we're then seeing that the money flow is here extremely thick, and the bigger the time frame, usually the better it is, so that the bigger kind of is stronger or ruling over the smaller time frames. And yes, also here we are creating one bearish divergence after another, but the money flow is just not coming down. And I've stated that also for the 4 hour bearish divergences, I want to see that coming down before I'm seriously looking at putting in bigger short trades. So far I haven't done it. I mean, yes, we could have topped out right here, but that money flow is still something, a point of concern on those bigger time frames. So I'm not putting in a big trade because the bears divergence on the 4 hour if the bigger time frames still look so good. I mean, look at this. This is on the daily. It just looks actually super good. Matter of fact, this morning, my time here in Asia, I saw even here a green dot. RSIs are pointed together. VWAP is probably going to roll to the upside again. So it just looks pretty good. Also here on the 2 days, RSIs are just coming together. Money flow actually looks good. VWAP is looking good. So don't rule this out that we are going lower right now. This could just be a hiccup here around the value area before we are going higher. So just be very careful. Of course, I am hoping that we are going lower. I think a lot of people got a little bit surprised by the speed and the ferociousness of this pump. That is right now what I'm looking out for. So if you are in the short, and let's say we are going lower, I do not think that this is now going to drop down all the way back to 16k. Like I also stated last week already, if we are breaking this level or the levels here, then of course everyone will try to long it. So then suddenly you have a lot of longs entering the market, which could push the price up. So I do not expect a dump of approximately 20% in a matter of a week or 2 weeks. I do expect that people are trying to long this rally to the upside. Then quick look at ETH. This is on the daily, and it's actually interesting because if we compare this to BTC, then you can see that BTC was just actually one rise up to the top, and we have now a little bit of a cluster. But for ETH, we're spending so much more time actually in this bigger sideways range right here. I also pulled a volume node. We're going to look at it in a second. We are right now also at and around that bigger golden pocket. So this is the top, this is the bottom, traded all the way back here to the golden pocket at approximately 1662 and 1693. Those are two very important. Of course, this then also coincides with the top right here. If we go higher, then it's just looking at this top. Therefore, also put a yellow line there. And then after that, we have this top right here. From bottom to the top, we're talking about first the top of 1675, 1790, and then the one at 2030. I constantly want to say much higher prices. If we are going lower, do actually just the exact same for the fib retracement, but then the other way around. The real gem would be here approximately at 1280 to 1300. But I think if we are going lower, we should be also a little bit conservative and maybe put the low of the fib retracement here, and then we have also a nice level at approximately 1350, which then also coincides with this cluster right here and the tops right here. So that is also definitely something I'm looking out for. For the market Cipher B indicator, same kind of story. You can also see here that the money flow is just already in the red. The momentum waves are rolling over. Let's quickly look at what the bigger time frames are saying. Not as pretty as the one from BTC, but you can see here that the money flow is also still pretty thick. This does not yet have a lot of follow through. The VWAP looks like it wants to curve higher, and the RSIs are also still kind of at the top, not really melted together. 2 day also not as nice. Let's see if the 12 hour was as strong as for BTC, and actually it is. Look at that money flow, incredibly, and it just stays there for now. Yes, momentum wave is lower, but the price is just not really coming down. For ETH, it is just that it is usually following BTC. So for me, that is actually most important. What is BTC doing? Then usually ETH is following. If we are looking here at the 4 hourly, then we see in quite strangely that the point of control and the value area high are super close to each other. Right now price is trading lower, and of course here so the moves also much bigger. We're talking here about approximately 5%, so it's just usually twice as volatile as BTC. Not always, but this is usually the case. First moment I would look for long is if we hit here the value area low, and then if we hold it, that we then could go higher, or if we are really just taking out these lows right here, because this is 1, 2, and 3. This is actually 4. So that actually would be nice to really grab the liquidity and then go higher. And you can see on the top that we did here the exact same, where in BTC we really took the liquidity. Here there's still quite some liquidity left on the top. So to maybe take liquidity here and then go lower. But I think actually if BTC gets another big move up, that ETH is going to play catch up and then just moves much higher and much faster. Quick look at the dollar index. Our major bullish divergence where we have been talking about, I think for more than 2 months already, started being created halfway November. It is still in play. If we look at the indicator, as you can see, momentum waves are still up, money flow slowly but surely creeping up, and we can see that this weekly level right here is holding so far. It is getting pretty crowded here with all the candles, and if you zoom in on the hourly, let's do an auto scale, then you can see there was actually just a very big sideways range so far. 0.5% to 1% for the dollar index. That is quite normal. That is quite low. Everything above 1% is extremely a lot, but you can see that the dollar index is just kind of just chilling sideways, and therefore the markets find some steam to go up. Once this really starts to go higher, we are breaking the 103, the yellow line right here. That is the resistance. Once we really start breaking that, then I expect that we are going higher, and that risk assets like stocks and crypto will sell off and then dump lower. But as long as we start trading here, or we are going down for the dollar index, then BTC and stocks will go higher. If we're talking about risk assets, then last but not least, a quick look at the S&P 500, or better yet, the ES1, so the future market of the S&P 500. There you can see that we broke that very important resistance that was created or came in from the beginning of 2022. So when we kind of started to make the base for the bear market, and there we have already talked about how many times this was resistance. Well, now we have finally broke it, and not really a nice retest. It's a little bit unclear. We have a bit of a channel to the upside. I still think that if the dollar index start valuing up, that eventually we are going to just go lower again and break this, and then everyone would say it was a big bull trap or fake out, and then eventually we are going lower. I might sound like a broken record. I am still aiming for these lows right here, or the 3500-ish. That was the ultimate bottom. There it is. And then I really hope that we are going to retest that sooner or later. Then quickly to the news, because I said this week is going to be an important and big week. The most important one is this Wednesday. Then we have an FOMC meeting again, and the Fed in the United States will most likely rise the interest rates. Most interesting thing about this is that 99.9% of the market is expecting a 0.25% interest rate hike. To be honest, I'm a little bit surprised, because 2 rate hikes ago we had 0.75. The last one was for the first time 0.5, and now apparently almost the entire market is expecting 0.25. Maybe it has to do with something that one of the Fed members said, that they think it is a wise decision to do only 0.25. I don't know if that's too fast already or not. I think personally I would have preferred maybe to see another 0.5. With that being said, if the Fed is hiking 0.5, then that means that the entire market was off. The entire market expected something else, and then I expect a big sell-off on the markets. S&P will really dump down, crypto will dump down, dollar index will skyrocket. So when you have these extremes, as in 99.9% of the market expect something and it will be something else, man, you betcha it's going to be a complete sell-off. If we're just looking at the data, I kind of understand. I mean, inflation is now rapidly coming down in the United States. This is the chart of inflation, 6.5%, and this is the chart of core inflation. This is actually the same as inflation, but then excludes food and fuel costs, as you can see right here. That one is 5.7. This one is probably a little bit more important for the Fed than just regular inflation. But with these numbers coming down, with one of the Fed members not Jerome Powell, I cannot remember who it was, coming out saying, hey, maybe we should do 0.25%. A lot of people think like that was probably the wink, as in, for the next meeting we're going to do 0.25%. You already warned, you now already know what you can expect. But man, oh man, I kinda actually hope there's going to be 0.5%. And again, if that happens, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. If it is exactly as expected, then I expect Bitcoin to do something like this, move up, move down, and eventually do something like this. And then it's just at and around expectations and nothing too crazy. And of course, the explanation after from Jerome Powell, that is the one that's going to be super interesting. There is a whole lot more on the agenda for the rest of the week, but this one from Wednesday is by far the most important one. Alright guys, tomorrow we are going to jump into this price action right here at the exact level where we are right now. I just want to take you by the hand and look at the macros and what we can expect for this week. And more of the really macro targets. If you like the content, then please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share the video with your friends if you think that's useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And see you guys very, very soon again tomorrow in the next one. Bye bye.